How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. What would it take to be in the 0.001% of Bitcoin holders? It's actually less than you think. I want to show you some of the numbers, but also show you what's happening in the market today because we actually are seeing quite a good day. Bitcoin's well over 64,000. It actually went up to about 64.6 before. And we do have some interesting graphs that we should show. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video to see future videos just like this. There's also going to be a link underneath the video to Margex where you can start trading cryptocurrency using leverage. So if you want to do this, there's no KYC. You don't need a VPN to access this website, and you can start trading within a few minutes. Of course, make sure you do your due diligence and understand what leverage trading is. You can get set up though really quickly, and you get an extra bonus that can be used towards trading fees when you use the link underneath the video. There's also a link down there to CoinW and Blowfin as well in case you want to trade on leverage, but you also want to trade spot or you want to buy spot cryptos as well. There are links to those underneath the video. Now Bitcoin is moving up to 64,300. I should say too, there's a crypto that I bought that's outside of Bitcoin. We'll talk about that towards the end, but let's get started here. So Bitcoin is moving up to 64.3, 64.4, 64.6. It's moving up quite well. It actually moved above this peak that we had seen just yesterday. So that's nice to see, especially after we saw a more dovish Jerome Powell this week. We're starting to see some pretty good volume as well. It's not just Bitcoin going up with low volume. No, it's actually record trading volume. Bitcoin trading volume is on fire, highest in a month, and on a Sunday, no less. The market is bringing the heat coming from Invest Answers. Now, some people are saying that Bitcoin's going to go up like drastically from here, like Plan B. Plan B, who's a analyst, he's been around for a long time. I know, very controversial. I'm sure that I'm going to hear about down below in the comment section, but he says the adoption of new technology like Bitcoin follows an S-curve, a logistic function, right chart. Most people don't understand the logistic growth in the first 50% adoption is exponential, yellow square. This means Bitcoin price growth might be exponential until 50% adoption. And he's talked about this before. He still thinks that we're actually going to have larger returns this cycle, maybe than last cycle. Let me play this clip for you, and then we'll get back to like what it takes to be in the top 0.001%. But this is really important.
Around 500, 2024, 2028 target is still around 500K on average. So also note that the error always goes down after the halving. So there is a halving, the model value goes up, and of course it takes some time. The Bitcoin price has a lag to catch up with the model value. It's every halving, it's the same. It will also be true this halving, in my opinion. So we see the error already going down. It will go down again because the price will not be 500K, of course, in May. It will slowly over the months go into that model price. So what's next? For 2024, I repeat the same as last video. It is inevitable that we reach 100K, in my opinion, because miner revenue has to recover, and mining revenue, because of the halving, did halve. All the miners, the entire industry has seen its revenue drop by 50%, and it has to recover. Usually, last 3 halvings, it did recover within 4 to 8 months. So that's well within this year, 2024. And the only way for mining revenue to recover is that price doubles. So estimating from current price of 60K, we should be well above 100K this year. Then 2025, I think the top will be then, because historically the top of the bull market has been after the halving, and about 1.5 years after the halving. So that brings us in 2025. And the big question, of course, is will the price follow diminishing returns? And I think a price of, well, around 200K K for the top will be in line with diminishing returns, or will price indeed follow the stock to flow model again, and will there be exponential returns again? You know my answer. I think stock to flow is still valid. I think we will have exponential returns at least until 50% adoption, and we're now at somewhere between 1 and 10%. So far away from that 50% adoption.
Okay, so we've talked about this before, but exponential returns, right? Instead of diminishing returns, actually exponential returns. Willy Woo says 4.7% adoption as of today. Bitcoin is at 4.7% world adoption. This is the same as January 1999 for the internet adoption. We are so early, and that's backed by the best data available. Now, Plan B says this, 5% feels about right. So at least 4 adoption doublings to go, from 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80, and then a little bit more to 100. And given a direct Metcalfe link to value, divide by price, rocket. So let's think about that for a second. If he says a direct Metcalfe link, let's say it's 1-to-1, right? And it's not even exponential, but just 1-to-1, the price will go up as much as the adoption goes up. So if we go from 5% to 100%, that's a 20x. Okay, 20x the price at 65,000. Let's call it 65. That's 1.3 million. And I think some people would argue, and myself included, if we get to that point where we go up to 100% adoption, or 80%, 70%, 50%, whatever, I think the price goes up more than the adopted rate. So I think if we go up to 50% adoption, we're going to go up in price more than 10x. The reason for that is this is quite scarce. We're going to have people that try to buy a significant amount and bid up the price. Quinton shows where we are in the cycle, which we are at a 4x from the bottom. Compare this to the 2 previous cycles. It's nothing. Like, it's nowhere close to where we're going to top out at. So 128x, this is from the 2017 cycle. 128x from bottom to top. Okay. And then about a 20x, 24x maybe in the 2021 cycle. So in this case, we would still have to about 5x from here, which would put us around 300, 330. That would be to get to this lower level, this cycle top that we made last time. If we get somewhere in between them, let's say between a 20x and 128x, let's call it a 60x. That is an insane number. That's a $750,000 Bitcoin. I'm not sure that we're going to get there this cycle, but I would not be surprised to see us somewhere around this level, that 24x, which would put us in that $300,000 range. Now, what if you want to be a 0.001% holder? Right? And there are some people that are swallowing up so much that like it's hard to get a lot of Bitcoin, and maybe not individually. Like if you're wealthy, it's easy enough to go buy a Bitcoin. But if everyone wants to go buy a Bitcoin, then it becomes very difficult because there's not much to go around. Tom Crown posts about this here. Okay. There's about 19.7 million Bitcoin and about 8.04 billion people. That means the total amount of Bitcoin divided by the world population is about 0.00244. Given that a Bitcoin currently costs $63,371, now it's up a little bit, there are only enough Bitcoins for every person to have about $155 worth. If Bitcoin were distributed using the current global distribution of wealth, 99.9% of people would have about $30 worth of Bitcoin. And people in the top 0.001% would have about 0.73 Bitcoin. So Satoshi Nakamoto said it might make sense just to get some in case it catches on. If enough people think the same way, that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So yeah, it's not actually as difficult as it would seem to get to that 0.001% if Bitcoin is distributed the same as the global distribution of wealth. Of course, if you want to become a 0.001% holder now, you'd actually have to have more than 0.73 Bitcoin because it's not distributed evenly. There are larger holders. a lot of people would be quite happy with 0.73 Bitcoin. And this is the really fun part in the cycle, because let's say you bought at 16,000 and you go up to 64, you made a 4x. If we make another 4x, let's say we go from 64,000 all the way up to, what would that be, 256,000? It's another 4x from here, but keep in mind that's a 16x from the bottom. This is where your wealth gets exponential. So if you're able to buy at 16,000 instead of selling right now and having a $48,000 profit, you're going to have a $240,000 profit if you sell towards the top. So this is the really fun part of the market. This is where you get the life-changing gains. Up until this point, a lot of us have made money, right? We bought in low dollar cost average maybe during the bear market, and we have a 2 or 3x, but a 2 or 3x from here gives us actually a 6 to 9x. So this is the fun part in the market. Make sure that you're still tuning in. Make sure you're dialed in, because this is where the fortunes are made during the bull market, after people get shaken out, like after what just happened. Some people got shaken out down at 58,000, 60,000, and think about that amount of pain, right? You make it through to the most bullish time in the market, then you get shaken out by a 20 or 25% drop over a number of weeks. And Grayscale flips bullish after 3 months of bearish outflows. Oh, that would be tough. That would be tough watching this rally right now. But if that was you, you can still get back in. You can still dollar cost average. You can still buy back. And yeah, you missed out because you probably sold at 57,000. Now we're at 64,000. But you maybe only miss out on a 10 or 15% move here, but you get in before the next 2x move. Now, just be careful. If you're going to do that, you have to make sure that you don't fall into the same trap, which is selling and freaking out. Don't put any money in that you can't afford to lose. Speaking of that, I did buy a meme coin. It's actually one that I just made a video on. I'm working with them, but I just wanted to say it in this video too. I'm kind of interested in this. Well, I definitely am interested in this, but I'm interested to see how this goes, because this is a crypto. It's called Moonbase, and they give reflections. So if you haven't seen that video already, check it out. It's on Base, so they can actually send out reflections every single day. I'm curious to see how much I make in wrapped ETH. It's depending on the trading volume. But if you want to check out that video, I'll put it on the end screen. But no pressure there. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. If you want to check out Margex, you can check it out underneath. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Oh, one last thing. This is going to be interesting. We're right at 65,000, right around there. I'm curious to see if we can break this level. This is where we previously saw some support, actually a couple times. Now it seems to be acting as a bit of resistance. You can see it here, here. So it'll be interesting. If we can break like 65, I think that'll be quite bullish. Be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. And I do have a video going up later from a pro trader going over the crypto market. It was from just a few days ago before we made this massive pump, but I still think it's going to be really interesting. If you don't mind, be on the lookout for that. I'll see you in the next